Many people want proof in the Bible where Jesus says he is God. Now, while you won't find Jesus stating the exact words, I am God, he does connect himself to God's divine and personal name that God uses in the Old Testament. Jesus' audience, when he said this, clearly understood his claiming to be God when Jesus used this name, which is why they tried to stone him and kill him and yelled blasphemy. So let's go through some of these examples. To start off, it all goes back to Exodus 3:14. We need to look at, where did God claim this name? God speaks to Moses at the burning bush, and Moses asks, what do I tell the people if they ask who sent me? And this was God's response, and I'll put the verse on the screen. God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. In the Greek translation of the Hebrew Old Testament, the I am is ego eimi. It's two words, E-G-O and then E-I-M-I, ego eimi. When God says, I am who I am, he's expressing his eternal self-existent nature. In other words, God is not created by anything or anyone. He is eternal and always existed. He is timeless, changeless, and beyond dependence. He always was, always is, and always will be. You can go to Google Translate and input ego eimi and see what it means in English. I did it, and I'll put it here on the screen. We have at our fingertips today tools that make it so easy. The I am, this is God's name. His exclusive name shows deity, his uncreated eternal nature, who has always existed. I am is considered one of the most sacred names of God in the Hebrew Bible. And so if you look at the next verse, Exodus 3:15, it goes on to clearly explain that I am is more than just a name that anyone could use. And I'll show you the Bible verse here. This is my name forever, the name you shall call me from generation to generation. So when Jesus claims this same name all over the New Testament, he is directly echoing God's words to Moses. His audience knew the scriptures very well, so they immediately caught the connection. Jesus was claiming deity. He was claiming God's divine name for himself. And one of the best examples of this is in John 8:57 to 59. You are not yet 50 years old, they said to him, and you have seen Abraham? Very truly I tell you, Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am. At this they picked up stones to stone him, but Jesus hid himself, slipping away from the temple grounds. That I am is the same Greek, ego eimi, the same name God used in Exodus 3. So look at this online Greek interlinear translation showing the same use of ego eimi for I am. Anyone can Google Greek interlinear translation and have fun checking all of this out. So why did they pick up stones to stone Jesus to death after he said this? For the Jewish leaders at the time, this was an explicit claim to divinity. According to Jewish law, blasphemy, claiming to be God or making oneself equal to God, was punishable by stoning to death. And they took this action because they believed Jesus' words were blasphemy and an affront to God. They weren't confused. They knew it. They heard it. Nobody had to convince these Jewish leaders. They had ears. They heard for themselves what Jesus said. No one was mistaking what Jesus was claiming. And they all clearly remember the burning bush back in Exodus. And they're thinking, this is the name God said was his name forever. So now let's look at John 18, verses 4 to 7, where Jesus is about to be arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane. And Jesus is going to use the same name of God himself. Jesus, knowing all that was going to happen to him, went out and asked them, who is it you want? Jesus of Nazareth, they replied. I am he, Jesus said. And Judas the traitor was standing there with them. When Jesus said, I am he, they drew back and fell to the ground. Again, he asked them, who is it you want? Jesus of Nazareth, they said. Jesus answered, I told you that I am he. If you are looking for me, then let these men go. The soldiers were so shocked, it says they fell to the ground. What would make them fall to the ground? They knew Jesus had just claimed to be God, ego eimi, the most sacred name of God in the Hebrew Bible. So here's the Greek interlinear translation for 8:5, where you can see the ego eimi words used once again. Now, let's look at John 8:24, where Jesus said, "Therefore I said to you that you will die in your sins, for if you do not believe that I am He, you will die in your sins." Many people miss this. If you don't go back to the original language of the New Testament, which was Greek, and see what the words used for I am are in the verse, you might miss it too. Look here at the Greek interlinear again for 8:24. It's the same ego eimi used for God's name. You see it? So next, when Jesus is walking on water in Matthew 14:27, his disciples think he's a ghost, but Jesus immediately says to them, "Take courage, it is I, do not be afraid." Here again is the Greek interlinear showing the translation. The I am is ego eimi. Jesus not only claims his deity, he controls the weather, he walks on water, he says, "Fear not, I am," claiming God's name. He helps Peter onto the boat and they worship him. And notice, he doesn't tell them to stop. He doesn't say, no, don't do that, don't worship me. He receives the worship. There are 7 famous statements that Jesus makes in addition to the ones that we've just gone through, and I'll put them on the screen. They are John 6:35, I am the bread of life. John 8:12, I am the light of the world. John 10:7 and 9, I am the door for the sheep. John 10:11 and 14, I am the good shepherd. John 11:25, I am the resurrection and the life. John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. John 15:1 and 5, I am the true vine. Each time the Greek original manuscript of the Bible uses the same ego eimi for I am. But I think readers today just kind of gloss right past it because they don't understand. They don't understand every one of these I am are the name of God given to Moses in Exodus. There's even more places that Jesus claims the I am. There's John 13:19, John 14:6, John 4:26. I just wanted to show you some of them today and pique your curiosity so that you will go explore more of this on your own. I encourage you, do your own research, look it up for yourself, and when you come across I am statements, just Google Greek interlinear translation and look up the Bible verse you would like to see, and it will show you the Greek and the English side by side. If this video was helpful, give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment, hit subscribe and the bell so you can be notified of future videos. And I hope you guys learned something today and have a great day.